Today I want to talk about Nostale, a free-to-play MMORPG game released in 2006. In the past, I spent a lot of hours in this game, and I wanted to play it once again. I played different MMORPG games, but I never found another one like Nostale. This game has always been one of a kind, and that is why it still has its niche of people playing it. What I am interested to see is how it has aged. I resurrected my old account and also played the game with a new character. Like in every MMORPG game, the first thing you will do is creating a character. In this game, the character creation is really minimalistic. You can only choose among the gender, hair type and hair color. This was never much of a problem since the personalization of the character happens leveling up in game. Everyone starts with the same class and then changes it in game when a certain point is reached. And each class has its own specializations, so even if the initial character creation is limited, in-game everyone will be able to create a unique one. In-game you can also buy aesthetic changes, some of them only available through the real money shop. Yes, since this is a free-to-play, of course there is a shop. Once you know how to play in the game mechanics, you can obtain everything without paying with real money, but you must play almost all the day and grind a lot to be as strong as a player who regularly uses the shop. So yes, sadly shopping matters a lot in this game, unless you are willing to spend hours and hours playing. As you can see, the style of this game is very cartoonish. It is an isometric 2D game. This makes it look like a 3D game, but it is not. Playing after all these years, the first thing that I notice is how trivial the character movement is. If you want the character to walk to a direct spot on the map, instead of going straight there it will take another direction to get where you wanted. Moving the character around the map feels rusty. This is to be expected from an old isometric game, but now that I am used to modern games, I don't like this player movement system. The combat system is very slow. Once you select an enemy, the game will automatically hit it until it has been defeated. All you have to do is pressing buttons to launch abilities, the game will do the rest. The combat feels really rusty. And the feeling is the same with an advanced character as well. It feels like there is a delay from when you press the ability and when it is actually launched. This combat system did not age well. Even in the past it felt very slow. Combat in this game requires almost no skill. In PvP, the player with the strongest equipment always wins, unless he is a monkey. This is why the game has always been really grindy. It is a rush to level up as fast as possible to get stronger equipment in order to be stronger than anyone else. I know that this is a characteristic of all MMO games, but in this one the skill of the player was never important, not even a little. To me, this has always felt more like a relaxing game than anything else. One in which there is action, but kept to the minimum required for the game to be interesting. In Nostale, like in every other game of this type, the goal of the player is to level up in order to get stronger. There are two levels that grow up in parallel, the battle level and the job level. The battle level is required to access certain missions and dungeons. It is also important for your equipment, since to wear stronger armor or weapons you will need a certain battle level. The stronger the equipment, the higher your battle level must be. The job level is used to change your class. Once you reach a battle level of 15, and a job level of 20, you get to choose if you want to be an archer, mage or swordman. Based on your selection, you will be able to specialize in other classes once your job level is high enough. There are many specializations for each class. Here for example I am playing as an archer, and I am going to transform into a ninja, which is one of many specializations available for this class. Leveling up takes a lot of time, unless you shop with real money some kind of experience boosters. If you don't, you will need to spend many hours playing this game. This is why I consider it so grindy. When you reach a battle level of 55, you get access to a special dungeon in which you get more experience points and you level up faster, but it is only open in certain hours during the day. There are also other events which happen at a certain time during the day, which are important to gain gold. Miss these events and your character will not grow strong enough to compete with other players. All this means that to be strong in this game, you can't just play when you feel like it. You have to be in game when these events happen, so if you had a busy day and couldn't play the events in time, you will lose a lot. This can create a dependence in young players since they could try to do anything possible to play this game at the right moment, leaving the real life for later. I know this since when I was a child, I have fallen in this trap multiple times. And that is not good. In this game, if you play when you have time or feel like it, missing the events above mentioned, you will be weaker than the others. This game has a story, which will guide you through your journey. But the story in Nostale is boring, badly explained, and has many plot holes. I have restarted from zero this game many times in the past, and I still have almost no clue about what happens in the story, since nothing of it is explained clearly. If you skip the story without following it, your game experience will be the same. The only useful thing about the story is that it at least guides you throughout the whole game, like a sort of tutorial. One positive note about the story is that for each of your character level there is a specific dungeon that you have to beat to proceed with the story. Beating these dungeons will give the players rewards, like weapons and armors. I always found this dungeons enjoyable, since there are many of them, and they vary enough from each other. Plus they give you rewards at the end, so you do feel satisfied when you complete these dungeons. I could talk about this game for an hour, since there is actually a lot more content in it than what I have told you so far. For example, you can have pets that follow you in battle, and you can have your private property that you can decorate. In this space you can also build a house if you wanted to, and other players may visit it. There are many games that you can play to earn rewards, and there is a lot more stuff going on in this game than one would think. But my objective for this video was not to talk about everything you can do, it was about giving you an idea of how Nostale is and feels like to play. Let's see a recap of all we have said. Even if the character creation in the beginning is very limited, in this game you can make your character unique while playing it. You don't feel like your character is the same of other players, anyone can create a unique one based on their preferred playing style, and there are many visual personalizations that create a lot of variety. Be who you want to be, without seeing your same setup 100 times from other players. There are many specializations for each class, and each one of them is different from the other. You have many dungeons that you can play as many times as you want to. Almost all of them playable with other players. Getting stronger and leveling up in this game feels satisfactory since you start the game with nothing, but you can obtain many special items in the end. While you play, you have a strong sense of progress and you don't feel like what you are doing is pointless. There are many things to do. And the more you level up, the more the possibilities given to you from the game. You will always have something to do, apart from the story. Time for the bad points now. The player movement and combat systems feel really rusty and slow since this is an old game. It takes some time to get used to it, but even then, it is not ideal. Player versus player combat depends mostly on who has the higher level and the stronger or more upgraded equipment. The skill level necessary to play PvP is very low. Stronger character stats determine who will win 90% of the times. The game is very grindy and time-consuming. If you are not willing to spend many hours playing it, there is no reason to download it because you will never be as strong as the other players. The story of the game is not engaging and it is badly explained. As I said, I played this game a lot in the past, but I still am confused from the story. It feels more like random events happening than a story. And lastly, there is the shop. Sadly, in this game shopping helps a lot, in my opinion way more than it should. It is true that it is possible to obtain everything in-game without ever paying with real money, but it will take all of your time. And even then, you will never be as strong as a player that shops regularly. So, will I play this game again? No. I don't consider Nostale a bad game, but it is not that good either. It is somewhere in between. The main reason I am not going to play it in the future is because I don't have all the time that I had in the past. Should you play Nostale? No. Today you can find many better games, and the good points we discussed before are not enough for me to suggest you to play this game. Thank you for watching, see you next video.